Whew. I'm just going to bring myself into center, just asking each of you to go ahead and begin to bring your awareness back into your body. So as we go through this evening, this is our second week in the week of honoring the masculine energy, the father energy. That this week we are offered a new perspective. In meditation this week, the guardians offered a perspective that in every single moment, day by day, you're never in the same position, the same time, or the same place. That we exist on a planet that is our spaceship, that is moving through the universe. That as we are here on Mother Earth and everything seems grounded and stable, we are actually completely rotating and going on larger circuits and cycles throughout the universe, around our sun, around other solar bodies, through the galactic, our galactic center, as we rotate around that through the different yugas and the different cycles. And so the perspective was such that every single day you are actually about 24 million miles away from the place you were the day before. So every single day you are millions of miles traveled into a new location of the universe. The time is no different. The space is now different. So in this moment, we are never the same than the moment before. And as we are on our spaceship of Mother Earth, moving through the cosmos, to know that as we're moving, we move at different angles, as if we're moving through the equinoxes and seasons of our galactic family, our galactic home. And as we do this, to know that the solar rays from the Rishik sun hits us at different angles. And so the guardian said to notice that when you set your intentions upon water, you can change the molecules and the structures of water, instantaneously restructuring it, giving it beauty and form and shape, just through your intentions or just through shining the light at the water. So therefore, one of the most significant, beautiful aspects of our planet Earth is that we are mainly comprised of water, not only on the planet of over 70%, but also within our physical vehicles in our body. So as we travel these millions and millions and millions of miles through the solar system every single day, we are literally like containers of water that are open to receiving new light, new codes, new frequencies. And when we surrender to just being this vessel of water to receive the Father's light onto us, that we are allowing that light to shine its intentions down on us, and those intentions are of higher vibrations, of the codes of the universe, of universal love, of unity, of consciousness, of your higher DNA strand activations. And so within this, we can realize that just riding along through the universe on the spaceship that we're on as an open receiving container and vessel of this living light fluid that we are, we can just hold ourselves in a state of being. That's all we really need to do, is to be in a state of open receptivity to the source code light, and that light shines its intentions on us, and automatically, as long as we continue to keep surrendering and get our ego out of the way, get our belief systems out of the way, get ourselves out of the way, those light codes automatically upgrade us, uplift us, embed us with higher consciousness, and with the frequencies of a vehicle and a vessel that can hold our soul. So just take a deep breath with that as you feel yourself moving in this. Open your vessel. That this evening our vessel gets to reprogram itself into a whole new relationship to absolutely everything we're in unison with in this entire incarnation and experience today. And as we do this, just bringing your breath and awareness into your body, breathing up your central column. Activating your 24-dimensional shield around you. Anchoring into the Merkaba heart field of the earth and the Merkaba heart field at the core of our central sun. And simultaneously experiencing both of those existing in harmony and unity right inside of your heart as we proclaim our declaration of intention. That we declare from the core of our heart our intention to serve our source. We align ourselves fully and completely to the heart of the one infinite creator. We dedicate this life to being our true heart song across all the cosmos. We surrender our ego now to be in service to the law of one mission, a first cause light, as a pillar of light. In the light of truth, we declare and intend, I am that I am. I am a soul sovereign being, and so it is. Taking a deep breath. And just for a moment, anchoring into the heart of the earth. And as you do, that light and radiant sphere of that light within the earth is the reminder that you made the declaration to be an emissary of light within this universe and within this physical form in this incarnation. So just feeling yourself anchoring into the oath and the declaration that you proclaimed as being an emissary of light. And as this emissary of light, that we are stepping into a whole new awareness of bringing in the stability of the masculine, the father energy. That an important factor to realize is that as we have the energy of father brought forward, that father does not only imply or specifically imply your birth father or the father figure that raised you in this life. So when we mention father and even mother, we really are imbuing ourselves with the essence of that quality. So it's the energies that hold that frequency. Whoever took on that role, whether they were in a female body or in a male body, it doesn't matter. It's whoever held that frequency and that energy. And that father, the father energy, when it is held in such a strength and radiance, to give you an image that we're going to hold throughout today, is that the father image and the father essence is the riverbed. That it is the structure of the riverbed that holds the essence of the divine feminine, the mother, the flowing feminine, that is the river that is flowing within that structure. One cannot exist without the other. They are within the essence of a river, that a river is a river because it also has the structure to give it its shape and its essence. And that the shape and the essence becomes a river because that flowing femininity, that creativity, and that essence is flowing through it. So when we are now looking at father energy, as we start to hold it within the divine, it is that which allows us to have structure, protection, stability, and that when there's that essence, the divine feminine and the mother begins to have a sense of feeling that safety, feeling that protection, and feeling that capability to be able to open up the sensuality and the sensitivity, the creativity, and all of that essence that goes forth into giving birth into all that is created through that divine union. So today, as we go through, we are also going to be just holding in your back of your mind that this is the Hieros Gamos union, that is the structure and the essence of all that is in this universe, which is really coming from a triad. It is coming from the Trinity waveform, which is also symbolized within the electron, the proton, and the neutron. So it's within every single molecule is the structuring form that is within it, that is holding the essence, the light, and the base codes and the base frequencies that are in everything. This is the part of Chi, the part of Cum, and the part of Q, that is the antimatter and all that is held within this. It's the antimatter, the matter, and that is all connecting together, the polarities. So it is the electrical current and the magnetic current creating the electromagnetic current. It's also the positive charge, the negative charge, and the neutral charge. So as I start to say these forms, I want you to be able to take that into everything, that when you notice anything in nature, it's easy to see all of this as a structure within anything in nature. It is exactly how all our chemicals, our hormones, our organs, our neuroprocessors, and everything are actually functioning in our body through all the chemical responses in us. And that is exactly how the stars are creating and how the planets are moving and how they're actually gravitationally being pulled around each other. So this is, we are a micro of the macro within the universe as it is happening. So now we can start to see that it's a tangible kind of thing that we can notice, but it's also an intangible thing that we get to see within every essence that even perpetuates itself through when we speak our words, through when our heart, our heart magnetism goes out into the earth. That polarity of the mind and the heart into our intentions is another Trinity wave that happens. And so as we see this energy moving, you can see how even if you were painting a picture, that you are completely immersed within a field that is holding the Father, the Mother, and the creation within it. So we're going to see within our relationships today how that is playing out in everything, and that we are being invited to actually start to balance it right inside of us. That our gift to humanity is start to be so whole that there's not a single thing that we look out of ourselves for. So as I turn on this PowerPoint today, we're going to be able to go through all of the clearings of the different layers today. So keeping in mind that last week we invited ourselves to sit down and to write down on paper all that our inner child, not us today, but what our inner child felt, experienced, the stories it created around the idea of father, whether having a father, not having a father, or the idea of father role in anything like that. So I want you just to, for a moment, bring that into your awareness. And after today, I'm going to invite you on this new moon energy, is to take those papers that you wrote all of that energy about the Father on, and to actually release them in a sacred fire this evening, in a safe container space outside this evening, in order to completely release these. And we're going to add on top of this some of the ideas of the relationships that we've had in our life. So the father role is the supporting role that gives forth the feminine the ability, the Shakti and the Shiva dance that is happening within and around all of us. So this is creating our relationship that we begin to have with others, but not only with others, but the relationship that we've created with ourselves. So again, it doesn't matter who plays the role of father, but regardless of who plays the role of father, whoever played it and whomever, because it could be multiple people who fulfilled this role for us, their relationship and our experience for them, with them, helped us mold every single one of our future relationships that we have in our life. How we feel and believe about the list of things that we're going to talk about this evening. So when we think of a relationship, healthy relationships have balance. Healthy relationships have healthy boundaries. And healthy relationships are imbued with virtues. They are imbued with our self-mastery. They are imbued with our principles within ourself, that is working within the law of one mission, that is working within the codes and ethics of universal law, of unity consciousness, of love-based, heart-based creation and connection with others. So within this, we could literally, within this dimension, this domain, and this reality, that all of the things that we talk about could honestly get boiled down almost to this idea of virtues, and virtues that we hold within our heart. That even regardless if we knew anything that we've talked about here, but if we held within ourselves an essence of virtues, that within every breath, within every thought, within every emotion, within every expression that we ever did an exchange of energy with on this planetary sphere, if we did it from a sense of virtue and heart-based compassion and love and essence within our heart, that every word we spoke was within balance and love and support and uplifting, right? So every interaction, every conversation, every creation that we ever create, everything that we ever do, anything that we ever dream to bring into creation in the future, if it is all done from this place of our heart, where we are so completely balanced within our heart, literally that is the essence of the goal of all of the teachings. That you could take every single essence and teaching out there, be it earth-based or take it out to our star nation-based teachings. And I will tell you that from the memories that I have of coming to Earth multiple times to come and share messages to the planet, that every single teaching on the planet, this is the basis of it, that the energy, the essence, the emotion, and the intention that we hold from our heart into every single thing that we express ourselves in this reality, if it is done from the highest vibrations of balance and love and good, we naturally align ourselves to be open, to be completely connected again to all that is within the cosmos, to our higher self. So just to hold that within there. So the basis of a healthy relationship is really based in the balance, our boundaries, which is the honoring of our I am presence, honoring of our sovereignty, who we are, who we know ourselves to be, and knowing that never, never, never once do we ever need to look outside of ourselves for validation, for worthiness, for love, or for any assurance of who we are, that we know without a doubt from our I am essence that we are an essence and an emissary of light of God's source. So that is where we hold that. And from that I am presence, we exude the virtues of the highest compassionate essences on this planet. And when we do that, we would naturally have healthy relationships with everything that we interact with in our life. So a relationship is again about balance. So here's a really cool thing, and this is where we get to be incredibly honest with ourselves, because again, we hit these plateaus where we clear things and we feel as though we've really transcended to another level, and we do. But to know that in this density, we are continuously and perpetually growing and expanding into our higher self-consciousness, that we are literally on a path to become a self-realized being, which means that we could literally manifest in and out of physical form. So when we actually reattune ourselves back into our avatar capabilities, which is a fully self-realized God source being, we have the capability to transcend through the different dimensional levels, which when you go up into higher dimensional levels, you disappear in the first harmonic universe. You would disappear in first, second, and third density because you would be so light. So that is what it means to actually manifest in and out of physical reality, that you could actually be in physical reality, bring yourself into density, but then actually vibrate yourself at a higher density level and move to the higher heavens, if you will, move into the higher harmonic universes. So that this is partially our path, is to actually reinstate our gifts and capabilities back into our 12-strand DNA capabilities of being a fully realized Christ avatar God self in this physical form and back on this planet. This is part of the work that we're doing to elevate the vibration here. So everything needs to be in balance in what we're doing. So relationships are where we look for balance. And if there is anything outside of us that, or inside of us, pardon me, that is not in balance, what do I mean by that? That means beliefs about yourself, beliefs about who you are, what you can do, who you can be, what you deserve. So it's generally about what level of your God self-realized self are you at, and what limitations are we holding, right? And any place we're not in balance in the self, in order to create balance, we will seek that balance through relationships with another. And again, this is the core reason why relationships like narcissistic and codependency exist. They naturally have to happen in this density in order to balance the polarity schisms that are on this planet. So it's as if there is a magnetic pull towards it. So if one's holding one charge that has discord or any limitations in them, that person, in order to find balance, will have to find the person that is the perfect polarity match for it. And that's where we see all the relationships of dysfunction on every gradient and level, all the way into harmonious relationships. So just to understand that if there are relationships within your life that don't feel comfortable, good, or as if it is in your best interest, you can actually thank that relationship, because it's giving you the opportunity to find a place within yourself that has literally just been out of balance, so that you can find the balance and that fulcrum point right within yourself to bring it into balance. And pardon me, I know I've attempted to quote this multiple times in classes. I do believe it's Joseph Campbell that said this, but it's, the quote is basically, that which you have not healed yet, you will marry. So it's this entire kind of understanding that whatever inner wounds we have, whatever childhood traumas we have, whatever limiting beliefs that we have, we will literally marry it. We will partnership with it, be it in an actual physical relationship with a love partner, or in a business partnership, or any other kind of partnership in our life. We will see that in family dynamics as well. So We want to get to the place where we don't have to be in such dramatic polarity exchanges anymore on this planet. Everything is about coming into that neutral, compassionate witness, that balance point right within ourselves. And this is where we're starting to embrace this through the structure of the Divine Father that is flowing right through us. So we're going to go ahead and just go through some of these clearings in here today. So I'm going to invite each of you just to breathe into your center. That Father is the original place that we started to create our self-image, our lovability, our worthiness, how we would be received by others in this reality. It is about how comfortable we feel interacting with other people, being in a crowd of other people, how comfortable we feel being ourselves around other people. So just for a moment, just start to come into your center. Anchoring your 24-dimensional shield around you. Now I want you to time travel that 24-dimensional shield, and I want you to imagine within your field that you're expanding it to hold every aspect of your timeline of this incarnation. So it's holding an entire sphere around every age and every year you've ever lived on planet Earth as the ego personality that you are right now. So in this very I am present moment of now, just asking for your higher self to come and anchor space for you now, and just commanding of your higher self, commanding now to anchor, lock, and seal the field in order to sustain and support the full transition and transformation of all lower frequencies that have been held within the soul sphere, within this incarnation and any other incarnational experiences that in this very incarnation, that this incarnation has the ability to heal absolutely every timeline, every incarnational soul experience, and all physical experiences that have ever been created and experienced within this physical realm. Taking another deep breath. And just allowing the words that come through, if they resonate and are correct for you, allowing them to come through as the voice that you speak to your higher self. Higher self, it is commanded that everything that was written about the beliefs of the inner child, about Father, who the Father is, what the experience with Father was, who Father was as far as a support, a protector, a provider, a praiser, someone who created presence in the family, stability, support, and acknowledgement. All that has been written on the piece of paper that is ready to be released into the fire this evening, calling forth now in this very I am present moment of now, that we are pulling all of it through all of the timelines, that it is complete. And as we pull it through, we are anchoring it through into all aspects of relationships so that all aspects of relationship can be completely purged, cleansed, transmuted, transformed into a new balanced dynamic and potential. We are commanding this now, and so it is. Take a deep breath. And we're being guided in this very moment to create a container of light and a transit portal within the space where you are. So commanding within your room where you are, or in your space around where you are. Commanding now to create a transit portal of light. We are commanding Mother Ark to open up and contain and hold a transit vortex portal of light, that any entities, energies, or transmutations, shadows, or any implants or end positions that have been placed within the soul field or entangled within our incarnation in any way, shape, or form, that they are hereby commanded to use this transit portal. Mother Ark, we are commanding and asking full safety and moving all of this energy out of this space now. We are commanding that it will all be purged and cleared, activating it now at the appropriate spin, so that everything that is being spoken now is words spoken into the vortex for them to be purged, cleared, deleted, and dissolved across all time, dimension, space, and reality. We command this now, and so it is. Taking a deep breath. So in your mind's eye, I want you to imagine that all of the words that were written on that piece of paper are being thrown into this vortex of light. Higher self commanding now that every word that was written on that piece of paper begin to energetically be thrown into the vortex now, to be purged and cleared. And we are asking that the age of the being that wrote those words be the one that gets to liberate those words from that timeline, collapsing that timeline, purging that timeline across all time, dimension, space, and reality. That in this very I am present moment of now, that we are hereby fully and completely in this moment liberating all inner child responsibilities to hold the debt and the weight of being the protector, being the structure of the family, being the one that has to praise and uplift others in order for others to feel validated or as if they matter, being the one that creates the provisions and provides the safety, the support, being the parental role in any way, shape, or form. That in this moment we are commanding to alleviate and relieve all aspects of our inner child of freedom from any responsibility that was ever placed on the inner child to ever be the divine mother or the divine father, holding the responsibility of being an adult in the family when the child role was all that was necessary. So in this very moment, all of that responsibility, that weight, all of that, we are taking all of that heaviness now. You are free, you are free, you are free, you are free. And just commanding, I am the adult now. I am the one that is choosing to stand up as the sovereign, balanced, divine masculine and divine feminine. I stand now as the mother, the father, the structure, the support of all that is created through me in this reality. I am commanding now that my inner child is completely liberated and freed of all responsibilities that it has ever held in order to figure out this reality and make this reality work as if they were an adult. The child now is free. I am bringing home all of me now. Every soul shard, every wounded child, every trauma hereby being collapsed and returned to God's source light now. And I command in this very I am present moment of now. So just command to your higher self commanding now to return home to my heart, all soul shards and aspects of my inner child into my heart so that I am whole again. Just commanding from your own voice. I command to be whole again. I command wholeness. I command balance. I command wholeness. I command balance. I am the one I have been waiting for. Just feel yourself say that. I am the one I have been waiting for. I am the structure, the strength, and the responsibility here and now, commanding it now, and so it is. Take a deep breath. Just feel your strength just beginning to just build within you now. And as we step into this, again, remembering mother is the comfort. She is the foundation that needs to feel safe in order to be the nurturing energy that connects us. That is the softness, the creativity. It's our own river that is flowing through us, feeling the divine mother, flowing this creative energy as the father structure begins to purify everything that we are bringing forth now. So now in this very I am present moment of now, we are being asked to think of your relationship with family. Imagine in your heart and your mind, what is your relationship with your mother, your father? And again, it could be an adoptive mother, adoptive father. It could be a stepfather, a stepmother. It could be your mother's boyfriends or your father's girlfriends. It could be any variation of extended family. So what is your relationship with your siblings? Or what is your relationship with the idea of being an only child? What is your relationship to what it was to be at home with the family unit was? What about grandparents, extended family, cousins, the family name? What about your relationship with children, grandchildren, be it your own, be it adopted, or just be it those that you are connected with in any way, shape, or form? I want you just to pull into your essence and your awareness. Any places that you felt as though you did or did not belong, as though you were or were not supported, as though you fit in or didn't fit in, as though you had to fit a mold, whether or not there was a family crest or family mottos that had to be lived by. What were the family beliefs? How supported were you if you wanted to express your emotions, if you wanted to express your ideas, if you wanted to express what you wanted to do, how you wanted to be heard, how creative you wanted to be? Just imagining the support and the idea of family. And each and every one of us had our own identity and relationship to our family, and whether or not we were obligated by them. We had to, did you have to support your family? Were you obligated to be the caretaker for an adult parent later on in years? Were you obligated to have to be there for siblings or parents or in any way, shape, or form to family functions, even if it didn't resonate for you? So finding all of the places where you acknowledge now where family is out of balance and where you acknowledged that you kept buying into the idea of family and what it meant to be a part of a family and how you had to survive or exist within that family. And in this very I am present moment of now, we are calling forth all of the energy and the vibration of family, that we are hereby acknowledging the father role within the family, that the father essence and energy within the family is the structure, the rules, the support, the virtues, the imbuing of what it is that the family believes in, what it is that the family is courageous about, what they are believing to be as far as an expression in this reality, what you can create, who you can be, what you can make of yourself within your life, knowing that in this very moment that the father essence and the father energy is that essence that was holding the container of the family in order for all to be present. And in this very I am present moment of now, we are commanding that all places that our inner child was not supported by a structured male father figure within a structure of the family home, that we are hereby acknowledging any limiting beliefs we created about what it meant to be a part of a group, what it meant to be heard, believed, belonging to something, feeling as though we had virtues, feeling as though we had morals, feeling as though we had ethics, something to stand up for, something to live for, something to plan ahead for, that all of these are within the essence and the virtue of the structure of the family and who we are, who we came here to be, and who we are for all of our future generations. So in this very I am present moment of now, any place that we had imbalance or not as stable, secure, or a firm riverbed flowing the family essence for us, we are hereby deleting and pulling that responsibility from our inner child of holding any of those limiting beliefs within us any longer. In this moment, commanding of your higher self, I acknowledge all of the places that my inner child bought into the distortion of what it meant to be a part of something bigger than myself, what it meant to be a part of a structure, what it meant to be part of something that believed in something, had morals, had ethics, had virtues, and had a future to live for, and had a structure to build upon, to be the emissary of light on this planet. I acknowledge all of the places my inner child had any sense of lack within any of this structure, and I am commanding that I am complete with all of that imbalance now. I acknowledge, and speaking to your higher self with affirmation, I acknowledge that I am the structure I have been looking for. I acknowledge that I know my virtues, I know my ethics, and I know from the core of my heart that I live by the law of one mission. I am here as an emissary of light, and I am entering into the family of this emissary of light now. I am part of the Christ light family now. I take my place fully and completely, standing now in the structure of the 24-dimensional shield within the 12-strand DNA of my Christ avatar God self. I command this now, and so it is. Taking a deep breath. And allow yourself to just command into the vortex that is pulling all of this energy out. And ask yourself, am I willing to let go of any distortions around the idea of family and what family is, or who family is for me? And I ask of you now, are you willing to let your family be free? They are not responsible for you. They are not responsible for your happiness. They are not responsible for your ascension. They are not responsible for your inner growth and your choice to make the declaration into being an emissary of light. In this moment, you are stepping forth as a full-fledged spiritual adult. Are you willing to take the responsibility away from your family, set them free from any limitations that you have used as an excuse for who you felt you became in this lifetime and what your life is now? And take all of those excuses and throw them into the vortex. Higher self, and commanding to your higher self, I am complete with every excuse I've ever used that I've blamed upon my family for who I am today. I set my family free. They are free, they are free, they are free. I am a soul sovereign being, and so it is. Take a deep breath. That the Father creates our very first connection and our relationship for ourself. This self is about who we are for ourselves, what we believe about ourselves, who we start to create as our self-identity, and what beliefs we can have about who we are. This is about our self-love. What relationship do you have with your physical body? Are you madly in love with your physical form and your physical body as a vehicle of your divine essence? Or have you put it down, looked at its flaws, or seen what it needs to do to be better? Knowing that our entire society is based upon making our body look like something else. So in this moment, what relationship do you have with your physical form, your shape of your body? What dosha or what type your body is? What relationship do you have with your hair, about whether or not you love your hair the way it is? Is it curly? Is it straight? What does your hair do? Finding yourself, what beliefs have you created about the relationship with your hair, with your looks, with your talents, what you can or can't do, what your capabilities are, what your lovability is in this life, about your humor. What relationship do you have about whether or not you think you're funny or fun or charismatic, or whether or not you're a person that others would want to be around at a party? What relationship do you have to your mind, your thoughts, the things you process within you, what imagination you have, your creativity? What relationship do you have to your body talents, whether or not you're athletic, whether or not you can or can't hold your breath a long time, run really far, bench a lot of weights, or whatever your body can or can't do? What relationship do you have towards your personality, who your ego is, who you think you are in this lifetime? Finding within this very I am present moment of now that it is the masculine, the father figure energy that creates our very first foundations for having a sense of self-identity and courage and love of self. It is that foundational structure that sees us as beautiful, that sees us as perfect, that sees us as capable, that sees us as immaculate amounts of talent that get to be manifested, developed, and grow into maturity in this life. The Father is that praise, it is that protection, and it is that ability to sit and just be present with the child as it develops and grows into a sense of pride for themselves and their talents and who they are. And so just acknowledge within yourself and your inner child all of the places and times where we've put ourselves down, where we thought we weren't as smart, as funny, or as pretty, or as good looking, or as strong, or as athletic, or as creative, or as an imaginative person as someone else. All of the places we judged ourselves. And I want you to imagine, first of all, elementary school ages, because these are some of the root places we really started developing limiting self-images, where we literally created a voice inside of our head that would negate and put ourselves down, calling ourselves stupid, not smart, ugly, fat, all of these kind of ideas that we come up with ourselves that we would say to ourselves because we started to compare ourselves to others. And the only reason we ever started to compare ourselves to others is because there was a lack of a strong male energetic presence within our life, giving us the stability to have the strength within our own self-identity so that we did not have to look outside of ourselves for any kind of self-love or even body image love of ourselves. So imagining especially elementary age and then high school age. So junior high and high school age, the early high school ages is where it really amplifies again. So I want you just to scan through your energetic field. Again, you are holding your entire timeline within your field. And now commanding to your higher self. Higher self, scan now all places within the timeline where there is any imbalance of the image of self, any place where I put my body down, any place where I put my looks down, where I put my talents down, where I put any of my attributes down in any way, shape, or form, any place where there was an aspect of myself where I didn't feel as though I belonged or was good enough or to fit in with any other person, any place where I judged myself against another person, against something in the media, against something in a magazine, against something with my peers, or what I saw in others. All of the times and places where my inner child felt as though it wasn't good enough to fit in with others or did not belong in any way, shape, or form. And there was a distortion in the image and the security and the foundation of self. In this very I am present moment of now, we are hereby proclaiming to all our inner childs, you are hereby liberated of all the responsibility of ever having to try to fit in, of having to be good enough, of having to make yourself, mold yourself, or contort yourself in any way, shape, or form to be anything other than yourself. In this very I am present moment of now, we are hereby stepping forth with the most immaculate, beautiful Father essence now. That we are the protection, we are the praise, we are the foundation, we are the strength for the inner child. And to our inner child, we say to you, you are beautiful, you are perfect, just the way you are. Just imagining saying to your inner child, I love you. You are incredible and perfect just the way you are. Who you came here to be is so special and unique, and no one else on the planet can take the place of you. You deserve to be you. You deserve to be seen. You deserve to be loved. You deserve to express yourself. You deserve to allow yourself to be loved and celebrated and supported by others. In this very I am present moment of now, allowing in this very moment that child to give all of the responsibility it ever held of trying to be anything other than itself, so that it can now radiate into the full essence and growth of the radiance of your soul and higher self. Higher self, and just command to your higher self, I am complete now with all limitations of self and all inner voices that have ever put myself down in any way, shape, or form. Any of the inner voices that said anything about me or to me that were not in my highest resonance and uplifting me and supporting me into my full soul essence, I command to pull them from me now, delete them, remove them, extract them, dissolve them, move them into the vortex. I am complete with them now. Pull them from me now, and so it is. And just imagining your higher self pulling them from you now, pulling, 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 pulling. All of those words, all of those put downs, all of those judgments that you've ever in your entire life expressed towards yourself, throw them in the vortex, throw them in the Celestine fire of light. Taking a deep breath. And now calling to yourself any place, bringing in the energy that Father creates the foundation of that role of safety and protection in order to let that Kundalini energy and sexuality energy to flow. That the Father energy is the foundational energy that begins to allow the adult child in the future to feel completely safe, to open up one of the most vulnerable energies on the planet. So our sexuality is one of the most potent, powerful energies on the planet, but it requires an absolute vulnerability in order to fully unleash it and let it go. And therefore, it needs a strong container of protection around it to protect the fire that moves through, in order to allow that fire to commingle in Hieros Gamos, that tantric union with your future partner, in order to create that cauldron of light that is tapping into pure creative cosmic energy. So this is cosmic tantric energy that can actually purify land, burn karma off the planet. It can create and completely bring the pure essence of creation and God source light right here anchored onto this planet. So I want you just to imagine within your field that in the young formative years, it is the image and that relationship that one sees of the father supporting the mother, so that the mother has the strength in order to not only be vulnerable, but bring her full fierceness and power out. That the feminine power is so strong, but it needs a stability around it. So within you, your masculine holds the structure for your divine feminine fire to move through you, whether or not you're a female or a male. So in this very moment, I want you to open up your timelines and look for any places that you did not see in your reality a supportive container for sexual energy. Any places where sexual energy felt vulnerable, as though it was something that was more of a physical act than something that was a sacred act. Any place where it felt as though it was superficial, something to even just get done, like a physical thing, no different than working out, or maybe to do just to connect with another person. Notice all of the places where the heart was maybe protecting itself to a degree because it didn't feel completely safe with the person one that you were connecting with. So noticing within yourself, and this is something that is so personal. So just notice within yourself, how comfortable are you with your sexuality? How comfortable are you being completely transparent and open to whomever you choose to share that energy with? How comfortable are you sharing your inmost desires or being able to verbalize what touch or what needs you have within every moment of expressing that sexual energy? And just become completely honest and aware with you. Would you even think of it? Is it uncomfortable to even talk about sexuality? Do you feel walls or blocks coming in? Do you actually feel any places within your chakra systems where any of the gates shut? Because sometimes with sexual energy, some of the chakras will shut down in order to protect that energy if it doesn't feel safe. And again, this comes from a place of not having had a great example, teaching, or structure within our life that allowed us to have that sort of sacred sexuality. Most people on the planet learned about sexuality through television, through magazines, through friends, talking with friends, giggling with friends, or some sort of structure that wasn't done in a sacred way. So just noticing for yourself, I want you to think of every year where there was energy and whether or not there was distortions in it with any kind of sexual abuse or anything like that, and just bring that forth. That in this very I am present moment of now, that we are calling forth to our higher self. That we understand the vulnerability of sexuality and the force of the creative flow that moves through the male and the female through this connection in this act. And that in this very moment, acknowledging every place, commanding of the higher self to scan all timelines for any places there was distortion in the use of sexual energy or the flow of sexual energy, or the feelings or beliefs about being able to be completely vulnerable and safe, opening up fully and completely within that energy. That we are hereby now commanding to pull forth any place that our inner child felt insecure around sexuality, felt giddy or silly, or as though it was embarrassing in any shape, way, or form, any place where it felt uncomfortable to express ourselves fully and completely, any place where we felt we had to shut any chakras down or be less than our full capability within the act of connecting with someone. That in this moment, we are hereby as a spiritual adult asking to just fully and completely acknowledge all of these places. And in this moment, we are commanding, and just say to your higher self, I am complete with that now. That in this very I am present moment of now, acknowledging that the energy of the sacred flame of sexuality is so beautiful, so powerful, so creative, that it is our capability to feel pure essence of creation right inside of us, that it is the energy that allows us to open up our third eye with the Christ ointment of the Amrita fluid that flows down through us. That we are acknowledging that it is the river that flows through us that allows us to be the lightning bolt of pure creation in this reality as a God sovereign realized being. And that as a Christ avatar God self, that we are hereby acknowledging that our body is our vehicle, our body is sacred, our body is beautiful, our body has feelings, our body has electricity. The sexuality is just the amplified energy of magnetic and electric energy pulsing and moving through us in chemical formations, allowing us to completely particleize into the 0 point field so that we can be the infinite creators within this universe of wherever we direct this energy. That we are acknowledging now that we are standing forth to be the adult in the energy of sexuality, our sexual energy, and who we are. To our higher self, commanding that we are holding the divine masculine energy and the container of safety and love and protection and light that holds the flame of the divine feminine within us, that allows the Kundalini fire to flow through us so that we can be the divine emissary of light on this planet that is fully and completely adult and mature with all of our sexuality and all of our energy and how we use it. That we are commanding in this moment that we are declaring to be mature spiritual adults, and every single time that we awaken the divine sexuality within us, that we are making the declaration to do this connection with another being who is holding sacred energy, that we will hold our own protection around our field in order to have this sacred energy move through us, that we are the divine river, the riverbed flowing the river of light through us. We command this now, and so it is. Take a deep breath. And as you take this deep breath, take another deep breath, and I want you to imagine any places that you had imbalance around the energy of sexuality, around sex, around orgasm, around pleasure, around creating any of that tantric energy through your body, and having the right to have feelings, to have that energy flowing through you and to move it in a sacred way. And I want you to imagine every inner child, commanding to every inner child, we are hereby liberating you. To our inner child, we liberate you of the responsibility of trying to figure out a mature energy as sexuality. We are taking the responsibility from you of trying to figure it out on your own, of trying to make sense of it, of trying to be in an energy that you fit in with others, in a world that you don't understand with this energy. And hereby proclaiming now, and just proclaim to your inner child, I am the adult. I am the spiritual adult. Give all of that responsibility to me. I take that responsibility now. I am the adult that is capable of moving this energy through me, and I command and I declare that I will do it with virtues, with ethics, with compassion, and within the divine light and love of all that is. To my inner child, you are free, you are free, you are free. Sexuality is clean. Sexuality is beautiful. Sexuality is love. Sexuality is natural. Sexuality is creation. And we are all free to explore and expand and experience. Feel yourself taking that permission to step into this energy and commanding it now. And so it is. And take a deep breath. That's a big one, you guys. And as we step into that we also realize that Father is the container and the protector and that energy for our relationship that we ever created with food. And acknowledging any place that there has been a distortion in your relationship with food, that food takes on the role of being the nurturer, nourishing. It takes on the role of grounding us, of giving us purpose, that many times when we feel overwhelmed, ungrounded, or that the energy is moving too much through our body and we're confused and we don't know what to do, we eat so that food will ground us and then give us a task that we feel that we're capable of actually accomplishing. So it gives us purpose. So I want you to scan your timeline, that each of us created our own unique relationship with food, whether or not we overeat, whether or not we struggle with making ourselves eat a certain way, whether it's restricting in any certain way, that we're restricting in order to keep our body looking a certain way, or we restricting to punish ourselves because we feel our body isn't as beautiful as we want it to be, or if it's the opposite, where we're actually underweight and we want to, or we're restricting with a food disorder so that we're actually malnourished and we're depriving ourselves from nourishment, or we're depriving ourselves from having sustenance and love of the body. So many eating disorders are just the polar opposite of still putting the body down and hating the body, but in a different way. So just acknowledging your relationship with food, that it's another place where we tend to have an inner voice that puts us down, that we have judgment about ourselves, that we feel as though we're limited in some way or that we're restricted in some way. And I want you just to notice, sense, and feel whatever your experiences were as a child. Some children soothed through food, and some children actually were raised with not enough food. So just finding your own dynamic in there and commanding of your higher self. Higher self, I acknowledge food is the sustenance and nourishment for the vehicle that I inhabit and use in this incarnation in order to do the divine will in this lifetime. I acknowledge that food is also an expression of love, of receiving, of nourishment, of connection, and of unity that I share in exchange with Divine Mother Earth. That food is earth giving to me as I give of my energy to her. That in this very moment, acknowledging that food is a radiance and an energy. That food is another way to say I deserve or I belong. And in this very I am present a moment of now, just commanding of your higher self. Higher self, I command to bring forward now any place where I have created a distortion around the idea of food, what food is, what food I deserve, what food I should eat, shouldn't eat, and all of my belief systems around this. Any diet that I've ever done, any style of eating that I forced myself into, any way in which I proposed to my body to eat things that I knew were not good for it, or restricted it from things that I knew would have been beneficial for it. Any way, shape, and form that there has been an imbalance of food, I am acknowledging now that this is something that my inner child created as an imbalance of structure of who I believed myself to be, how much I believed in myself, how much I believed in my body, how much I loved my body, how safe I felt in this world, how protected I felt to be who I am. And any other way that I may have ever used food as a crutch, as an addiction, as a support, as a tool, as a distraction, as a disassociation, any way that I've ever used food mindlessly without completely honoring, loving, and experiencing every single bite. Acknowledging now that food is another tantric act that we contribute and become a part of on this planet. That when you eat your food, you are truly making love to the food that you are consuming, in the sense that it is loving you and you are loving it. And remember, when we talk about making love, it's the same thing as if you were to say that you are making art, or making food, or making something. You're making more of something, you're creating something. So when we make love, we are making more expressions of love, creating love. I want you just to imagine every place that you have created this relationship with food, and begin to just say to my inner child, I take the responsibility from you, from having to figure out how to manage a physical body, how to navigate this life, how to be safe. Any places that we've ever used food as a sense of abundance, as a sense of deserving, as a treat, as a reward. Acknowledging to the inner child all of the places that we've looked outside of ourselves, and where you've taken on the responsibility for trying to figure out this world, or trying to be good enough, trying to be loved, trying to be lovable, trying to fit in, trying to belong, or trying to be beautiful enough, or be the perfect expression in a physical form, in any way, shape, or form. And in this moment, to the inner child, all of that responsibility, give it to me. You are free, you are free, you are free. You don't have to figure this life out anymore. You don't have to have that responsibility anymore. It does not belong to you. And commanding of your higher self, commanding now to choose that in every day, in every way, that I will create a healthy, balanced relationship with everything I put into my mouth in order to nourish my body. I command that everything is done in balance, in consciousness, and in harmony now. That anytime I become disassociated in any way, or mindless to the things that I am putting in my mouth, that I will stop myself and recenter myself, so that I am conscious and aware and acting within my morals and my virtues with everything I do, especially when I eat food. I command this now, and so it is. Taking a deep breath. And just acknowledging now that every single bite of food that we eat is something that was grown on this beautiful planet Earth that we live on. And just make the declaration, if you're ready, that I am choosing to only eat that which is vital, which is healthy, which is nourished, and which has grown from the earth of this beautiful planet I live on. That you can choose to make the declaration to begin to more and more eliminate anything from the diet that is not alive, not living. So anything that has been manufactured, processed, packaged, that has been tinkered with in any way, shape, or form, and that has been removed more and more from its natural, vibrant, living stage, that we can start to make the declaration to, even with our food and our eating, begin to move more and more to living light, essence, and energy with everything that we eat, that we are making that relationship even stronger every day. As we bring our awareness into our physical form again, just acknowledging now any places where we have created any relationships around money and abundance, about how much money we can have, how much finances we're capable of creating, what financial status that we're in, what social class that we're in, who we are in a financial or in a kind of a number sense as far as money makes worth. So just acknowledging that Father also was the structure system of providing, of provisions, of what we can be and who we can be in this reality, what we deserve and who we can create. So again, it's that river structure, that structure of the river, of how solid is that riverbed, how big is it, how capable is it of flowing a tremendous, remember, we could be a tiny little creek, or we can grow that supportive masculine energy to be able to hold the raging waters of Niagara Falls if we wanted to. You are the structure that gets to create however much abundance and creativity and love and flow. And to know that money and abundance is literally an expression of our own self-worth and lovability of what we feel. So now just acknowledging that where money and abundance beliefs came from is also a part of what we felt that we could be in this reality and how worthy we are of what we could maintain. So again, it's also that responsibility of knowing that money and creating, say, a big empire in this reality creates a level of responsibility. That having a lot of money also starts to mean that you have a lot more responsibility, managing that currency, managing that energy flow, being responsible for it, being able to manage it and not just letting it just wash across the banks and evaporate and disappear, right? So it's that level of structure. So that masculine energy is that. So I want to tie this in, starting to tie this in, just with our gifts and capabilities, who we feel we can be, our belief systems around what we believe around money, or what we believe, and just start to scan your timeline. What was the financial message that you were given as a child? Was your family incredibly abundant, or did they live middle class or more in poverty? And notice that it doesn't matter which class that your family felt that they were in, what was their belief systems around it, because within the structure of having, so there are people who live in a state of poverty who have money, and there are people who live in a state of poverty who have no money. A state of poverty is a feeling of not having enough, that it's always going to get lost, somebody's going to take it, you're just one deal away from losing it all. There's all of these beliefs that even if somebody had millions and millions and millions of dollars, there can be a poverty mentality behind it, that a person becomes untrustworthy of their business partners, always feeling like somebody's going to backstab them or try to take from them, or that they're going to get married and that person's going to take half of what they have and they need a prenup, and they're always feeling like everybody's taking from them. And so it's this almost this energy of hoarding and starting to hold on to, and this energy of that's always feeling like it's going to be gone the next day, or that it's something's going to happen to it. Or so just acknowledging what your beliefs around money were that your inner child started to watch. Did your father feel overwhelmed for having to provide, or did your mother feel overwhelmed for having to provide? So we could go a whole entire class just on money and abundance. So I just quickly want you just to grab whatever energy that you had, and just to grab that now, that in this I am present moment of now, that we are hereby acknowledging to the inner child, we are acknowledging all of the beliefs that you came up with around the idea of money, around the idea of abundance, around the ideas of who you could be, what you could grow up to be, what careers you could have, what gifts and capabilities that you were allowed to have. And all of the beliefs about whether or not it was safe to have money, that it was easy to have money, that money comes easily to you or not. All of this responsibility that you had in order to try to figure it out, in order to try to provide or be taken care of, all of that responsibility I take now from you. So just take all of the responsibility from the inner child of having to figure out money, abundance, or anything like that. And in this moment, just commanding to your higher self, I command to pull from me all imbalanced beliefs around money, around abundance, around what I could have, around what I could provide for myself, around who I could be, around how much money can be in my bank account, and what I can do with my money. That my money isn't just about survival, that who and what I am and the abundance I have gives me the capability to actually utilize it in order to be an emissary of light on this planet. So I want you just to start to see abundance, currency, and money as a tool, as something that you get to use. It actually is a currency. So it's no different than the tantric energy, the kundalini energy, and that spiritual energy that moves through us. Start to allow yourself to begin to see that abundance and currency is no different. It's our ability to move a currency through us. And in this very I am present moment of now, that we are commanding to dissolve and delete all spells, curses, superimpositions, or implants onto currency. Any spells, curses, or superimpositions that were placed onto currency, onto money, by any bloodlines or by any families in order to control the way that money uses or is used, that we are commanding now from our higher self, that we have the ability to direct money from our Christ avatar God self in order to be a tool of the light and a tool of the essence of pure divine creation on this planet. That we are commanding that every single ray and currency of abundance that we touch on this planet is instantly transmuted, cleared, and dissolved in order for it to become a new tool for the emissary of light on this planet. We are commanding this now, and so it is. And just imagine dumping all of the old beliefs, all of the limitations, all the spells, curses, and superimpositions that have ever been put on money as a tool or a slavery device, and just beginning to throw it into that vortex now, and just commanding to your higher self, I am complete with any limiting beliefs around money, who I am, and what I can create. I command this now, and so it is. Take a deep breath. And as you take that deep breath, just allowing yourself that we're going to just begin to wrap this up. There's many, many, many of these structures that we can spend some more time in the future. I'm going to invite each and every one of you to notice this list and to make your own list on paper. If there's other things that come up for you that really stand out that you can actually write out today, the new moon, it's perfect to begin to take all of this and whatever you're ready to let go of as far as beliefs, let's burn it in the fire so that we can plant into creation right now all that we are choosing to step into and to be. And that in this moment, just to acknowledge all of your beliefs and your ideas around the idea of death, about transcending the body, consciousness leaving the body, and that transition point of going from living in this organic form and into moving on. And I want you just to acknowledge that the father energy, that masculine energy, is the structure that holds the essence of this incarnation. It creates the container for us to have this incarnational experience so that that divine creative flow can move through us, that connects us with our higher consciousness, that it gives us the awareness that this is just one experience, but our consciousness is infinite. Our divine masculine and feminine is infinite. It doesn't need to exist in a physical form, but we choose it from time to time in order to anchor in a lot of these codes and energies into density forms in order to keep rising the vibration in the lower densities. And so I just want you to acknowledge any places where there was ever any fear around death, about living, any fear around living, about things you could do, things that you could go out and experience, maybe fear of traveling, fear of trying new things, fear of going out and putting yourself on the limb and trying new things, to really live. Any fears that you had about just truly doing what your passion was, or your deepest desires that you actually had, that maybe there were some kind of inhibitions or anything that held you back. Those come from a fear of not feeling safe enough to actually fully live your life and be who you came here to be. And in not living our life fully and 100% confident to be who we came here to be, now it transcends to the polarity of being afraid and almost clinging to this life, because now we're afraid of what's after, or where we're going, or what may happen, or the fear around death. Because there's not a lot of teaching around it, because it's treated almost more taboo to talk about than sexuality. Healthy sexuality should be a beautiful conversation that is shared just as much as the beautiful conversation that we could have of life and death, and the cycle that we have in these physical forms that completely reciprocate themselves. Because as we start to learn that, guess what? We release the negative or the density that's in this form, so that it actually can start stepping back into the higher vibratory states that allow it to live longer. We start to activate the codes and the DNA within it. That when we start to activate our 12 strands of DNA, really what we're doing is we're starting to activate our eternal light code. So it gives our body the ability to actually become eternal. And I want to specify to you guys, eternal is different than immortal. Immortal is generally operating off of a parasitic energy. Immortal generally is a being that can extend its life. So this is where we're going to need to be actually really careful in the future, how we actually use certain scientific and advanced technologies that are going to become available to us, that are going to allow the body to heal itself and actually live longer. Now, to live longer in a third dimensional density is just being vampiric. We're meant to be ascending our consciousness fully and completely, and therefore having eternal life gives us the ability to continually and perpetually exist without losing our memories. So we're constantly growing and expanding. But imagine somebody who's not choosing to expand their consciousness. Now, guess what? And you start to give them immortality. So now you just keep healing and repairing the body, but that consciousness isn't choosing to do anything. It is only perpetuating the death cycle. It's still, even though it's immortal, it's still perpetuating the death cycle. It's still just perpetuating all of the lower vibrations that are going. So that again is a consciousness topic, but it's something I just want to plant the seed of thought for you to contemplate within yourself of the difference within there, that the fear of dying literally comes from this kind of internal place that hasn't done the work. And that once we literally start to hit a higher level of consciousness, the fear of living and the fear of death completely disappear. So just acknowledging within yourself, again, this is really just going to that inner child. Any place that there was a fear, maybe we watched a pet die when we were young, or somebody close to us, a family member, a friend or something like that, that we had a traumatic experience and we watched someone lose their life and we saw the pain and trauma in that experience, right? So now just kind of understanding the gentleness that you get to be to your inner child and just commanding to your higher self, I ask to see within all of my timelines, any places where my inner child has been petrified in fear around living or death. That in this very I am present moment of now, that I am choosing to completely recreate that to my inner child. I take all of that responsibility from you. I am here to protect you. I am here to guide you, to love you, to be present for you. All of that responsibility, give it to me. And just breathe that inner child back home. And just commanding to your higher self, I am willing to learn more and more every day how to be more alive, how to live my life to the fullest, how to live my life 100%, how to live my life 100% as my higher self, to make choices in my life that are in alignment to my higher self, and to completely make those choices regardless of what I think another person will think of me, of what I think society will do to me, of what I think my bank account will do to me. That in this very I am present moment of now, I am completely aligning myself to live my life 100% to the fullest, so that I live my life fully and completely in this I am present moment of now, that I know, should I choose to transcend this body and move into another physical form, that it is merely a transition into another state of physicality, but my consciousness is mine. My consciousness is my truth. And just commanding to yourself now, I command to myself that I am willing to be the spiritual adult that learns how to die appropriately, that I choose to learn every day more and more how to die with my memories, with my consciousness, and with who I am. And just to know that even in this moment, every time you go to sleep at night, you are dying. And every morning when you wake up, you get to wake up brand new again. That every breath you take, you die with every exhale, and you breathe in again and live again. That there's these cycles of living and dying that are happening in every millisecond of your life. And can you choose to be reborn in every single breath, in every single moment, in every single thing you do? Become the lucid dreamer in your life. When you're a lucid dreamer, you're not afraid of dying anymore. It's like not being afraid to go into the deep sleep, because you wake up in the dream and you remember who you are. You remember your memories, and they cannot take them from you. And you will always be your truth through your consciousness stream, so that when you reincarnate again, should you choose to incarnate into another form, that you are doing so with your memories, your consciousness. And I will say, again, just to plant the idea and the seed to you, and ask yourself, should your memories be erased? If you studied and studied and studied and studied to go take a test and go take an exam, and you study all of this all night long and for however long, and you get to the classroom and they're about to walk you in the door to take the test, do they erase your memories when you walk through the door before you sit down and take the test? Micro, macro. You answer that for you. Your consciousness and your memories are your sovereign right. Nobody has the right to take them from you. Nobody has the right to erase your memories. Nobody has the right to mind wipe you. And you have the right within your higher self and your soul and who you are to command your sovereignty and to completely entrain yourself. Be the divine father, be the divine masculine that creates the solid structure within your consciousness so that you have a solid vessel for your consciousness, that no matter where your consciousness travels, be it a dream, be it an astral realm, or be it out of this lifetime through death into another lifetime, your consciousness is completely contained within your container so that it never gets taken from you. So I invite that concept and that for you to contemplate right now. And in this very I am present moment of now, just bringing yourself into your center one more time and just commanding to my higher self. I acknowledge that all that I interact with is a relationship within this reality. I acknowledge now that within this relationship, I take full responsibility for every single way I use my energy, every single way that I connect with others, every single way that I create in this reality, every way I use my words, every way I use my energy. Higher self, I acknowledge that I am the container of the divine that allows the creativity and the essence and the spirit to flow through me. I am that I am. I am a soul sovereign being. Take a deep breath. And in your final declaration, just commanding and intending, higher self, I declare in this very moment that I take the sovereign stance to do every action from balance and unity right inside of me. I dissolve and delete all practices, all habits, and all actions where I seek balance through an other. I command to be in unity consciousness. I command to create within the law of one. I command to find balance and wholeness right within myself so that everyone I connect with, I am whole. I command this now, and so it is. Take a deep breath. I want you just to imagine in your shield that has been holding that full spectrum of your timeline within you. I want you to take all the inner children and I want you to collapse all of your timelines. Every year of your incarnation in this life, collapse them all. Bring them into your heart. Bring every child into your heart and collapse all of your timelines and just proclaim, I am that I am. I am present in the now. I exist in the now. I breathe in the now. I create in the now. I am that I am. I am conscious. I am present. I am balanced. I am whole. I am divine masculine. I am divine feminine. I am the expression of God's source light living in physical form. I command this all now, and so it is. Just allow all of those timelines to collapse. Allow that portal to stay open, that anything that is still purging, dissolving, and clearing out of your form, that for the next 72 hours, that vortex is open in order to keep purging and dissolving as if it's dissipating out of your physical form. As we begin to bring the sacred ceremony to a close, acknowledging again that you are able in this evening to take those papers and burn them in the fire. That in this next week and in every following day forward, that you are becoming more aware of every relationship that you have with absolutely everything that you have an experience with on this physical plane. So in this moment, we are commanding to our higher self, to all of the guardians, we say thank you, thank you, thank you for the expression and the experience of being able to take this journey of becoming more and more aware of what a relationship is, and our role and responsibility of being a container of divine light for this relationship. That in this moment, we know that our most primary relationship is our wholeness within ourself, and that from this state of wholeness, that we get to be the pillar of light, the emissary of light, as we relate to all around us. With a divine light and a loving heart, we say thank you for this experience as we bring this sacred session to a close. And so it is. Take a deep breath.